Alright. Looks like just about everything's ready. Check the stream audio real quick, make sure that's coming through properly. Okay, I think I'm ready to go here. And I think I'm ready to go. Alright, go. Back first time in 3 days or so. Had to take a little bit of a break there to let my tongue try to heal. It's mostly better now. Every now and then it kind of hits something a little bit funny, and one of the moderately inflamed areas just kind of dully hurts a little bit. It's not like it was the last few days where it's kind of a lingering dull pain and then a sharp pain whenever I hit it. Doesn't feel like my whole jaw hurts anymore, so that should let me do this without too much trouble. Alright, let's go. 3, 2, 1, hey. Looking up causes online. It's more or less what you'd expect. It's immunodeficiency, so like being tired or stressed out can cause them, or vitamin deficiency. It seems like what it causes them to occur more often is if some way you're mildly immunocompromised, which can happen in any number of ways. You know, being immunocompromised doesn't necessarily mean that you have like a disease. It could just be that you haven't been eating a proper diet, so your immune system's not functioning the way it should. Could mean you're just overly stressed, which can cause your immune system to act funny. Could just be that you're sleepy, so the body doesn't have the energy to fight off things that need to fight off. Could be any number of things. So that is why you generally want to keep your body in good health, because it will help prevent even silly little things like this. Oh, disaster. Yeah, that's a disaster. Let's try that again. Guess I didn't get far enough to the right. Didn't miss mashing these buttons. There we go. Okay, then. Oh. That's better. It's kind of neat that even back when this game was made, they were making the enemies react to noise. Now, I guess Metal Gear did that. Ah. Quicker than I was expecting it to. Not a very good time here. Oh, no. This is going to be like a 318 on the way out? 319? Is that better? Really almost auto restart. Not too much went right. That's alright. We can do it. Don't want to get bogged down too early, but it's really getting pretty ugly time right now. Now that helps a little bit. One pixel too far. Thank you. Very helpful there. Also good. Very good. Oh. That works. Awesome. No. I think it's pretty safe to say the answer to that question is no. Oh, come on. Come on. Jesus. Alright, screw that. 602? Who the fuck are we kidding? I don't get it with those. Like, I don't understand why it just doesn't grab it. I mean, because you can clearly see like the sprites in the motion position. It's just like there's some kind of point where it hooks, and I don't know where it is. Like I don't know whether it's time based or it's frame based or something like that, but it feels like he should just be grabbed onto it, and then I press it down and he doesn't pull it. He walks away. I mean, really, about the only things that changed last week is I kind of quit playing Grand Blue on stream just because I just kind of reached a point where everything I was going to have to do was just grinding stuff. So I was like, well, if that's all this game is going to be, then I'll just grind it in my own time. Because it's not fun for me to have to sit there and do the same quest over and over and over again just to get my characters to a usable point. And it's even less fun for someone to sit there and watch that. Now, you got something to talk about the whole time, that's one thing, but that game requires so much concentration to keep yourself alive on the higher level stuff that it's not exactly the easiest thing to do. Now, if you're strong enough to where like you don't even have to pay attention on grinding those things, then that's more feasible, but oh, come on. With Mugenics, I mean, Mugenics doesn't do anything unless I do something. So, like, it progresses as fast as I let it progress. So I don't have to be in a hurry with that. But Grand Blue, like, once that fight started, if I'm not paying attention, it's going to get ugly in a hurry. And then with the expansion, they sped up the emergency meter. You know, that thing that comes up whenever you get KO'd or, you know, HP goes to 0. You don't get as much time on that as you used to. Now, once you level up enough, like, it gives you time extensions for those again, but I don't know, like, I feel like they should have mentioned that somewhere. Instead of me just kind of having to look at it and figure out, hey, this meter's going down a lot faster than it used to. There is no hard mode in that game, to the best of my knowledge. Like, I don't remember there being a difficulty setting. It's just you know, the quests have a difficulty level. But it appears that everything from the expansion onward has that meter sped up. I mean, for all I know, it's going to get even faster at higher difficulties. I mean, I've been kind of plugging along with it, but one of the other things I figured out, it's part of the reason I'm struggling with the expansion, is there's sigils that you can get from doing the Lucifer fight that will increase your damage cap even further. Because you've got to grind that fight for a while to get those, and then I got to get enough for 4 people to do that too. And, like, I'm actually strong enough now to where I can beat that fight without having to worry about it too much. I actually just kind of decided, like, I'll probably just kind of grind through a lot of the stuff, and then I can just kind of go back through it. Because the thing is, like, if I tried to... So let's say that I did, okay, I'll grind up until I'm ready to do the next quest. Okay, so I do the next quest, and then what comes after that? Probably another quest that's going to require me to grind again before I can do it. It's just a constant repetition of that. Which means there's really no good time to kind of just sit there and regularly plod through the game. You kind of gotta... If you want to go through the content smoothly, you kind of got to go through it once and then go back through it again. Either that or you had to have massively powered your characters up before you even started. Which obviously isn't the case. Like, I've just kind of been getting by at the bare minimum. Because that was the fastest way to go. But it really was kind of interesting reading the Steam reviews for it. And the reviews for it in general. So you go to Metacritic, it's got a pretty good score on Metacritic, but the thing is, like, there's very few reviews for it. And it's pretty much what I've kind of figured, which is that the game has whittled down its audience to the hardest of hardcore players at this point. And I don't think it's really getting anyone back. Like, I think a lot of the people that are playing it now are people that also play the mobile game. So, I mean, like, they've got their dedicated base of fans with it. But, like, this expansion was absolutely not really aimed at normal players. I kind of talked about it a little bit, I don't remember when, but I'd forgotten something about that game that kind of explains why it ended up the way it did. If you know who Platinum Games is, like, Platinum Games is the remnants, not the remnants, it was a new studio that got made, I don't remember how far back, out of a lot of people that used to work at, like, Capcom and worked on the Devil May Cry series, and they did some other stuff too. And so I think they're the ones that made Nier Automata and I think Bayonetta too. Like, they've worked on a lot of good action games. Like, they're really, really good at that. And they actually helped out developing Grand Blue Fantasy when they were still around. I think Platinum may have gone under. I can't remember. I think something happened to them. Like, they're not the studio they were anymore. If they even exist. But that kind of explains why everything about the base game feels pretty well put together. And then everything that came after the base game doesn't. It's not like it's bad, it's just that everything after the base game feels like it was designed by a mobile game developer. Because it was. I mean, it really kind of explains it really well. Now I understand why the game feels like it does. And the thing is, like, most of the negative contents for the game pretty much say the exact same thing I'm saying, which is, like, the base game was really good, but then, like, you get to the extra stuff and it feels like the game's just intentionally wasting your time for no reason. Like, it feels like a mobile game. It's like it's too grindy, the enemies repeat too often, and it takes too long to kill everything. And those are all pretty much exactly my complaints with the game. That, and they do bring up another good point that I haven't really come across because I've only been playing the main character, but like one of the other things they did that's a totally mobile game thing to do is the characters were a lot more balanced on the base game. In that, you know, some were better than others, but it wasn't that they were so much better than others that you didn't see people using a variety of characters. Like, some of the stuff they've released with the extra stuff, like, some of the characters are just way better than others, so if you go online, everybody's playing only, like, a small handful of characters now. Which is also a very mobile game thing to do, because you make the new characters more powerful than the old characters, so people are incentivized to use them. Now, that makes sense in a mobile game where you're trying to get people to spend money on those new characters. But, doesn't really make sense in a game where nobody's spending any money on any of that, you know? Oh, yeah, like, there's a cast of, like, 25 different playable characters. So, like, you know, all of my teammates, I can choose any one of them to play as. Everybody's got their own different skill sets, they've got their own move sets. Everybody's got different damage caps, too. That's the thing, like, the damage cap, one of the other things that's kind of really annoying about that game is the damage cap isn't universal. The damage cap is different for every single attack and every single ability. And what I mean by every single attack is like one swing has a different damage cap than another swing. It does, if like every single swing doesn't do equal damage, then it does. But it's just, usually you won't see devs go to that length to kind of cap everything off. But my guess is like there is a base damage, and then they just kind of scale off of that percentage-wise to keep it from getting too complicated. So I mean, with like the base game, there's obviously some characters that are better than others for DPS and things like that, but like you've got support characters and other stuff, so when you go online to play, like you kind of want a good balance. You don't want just everybody to be DPS, otherwise the fight may not go well. Like, because to get the best DPS, you need characters that can do, you know, like attack buffs and defense debuffs on that monster and other stuff like that. And like, I think the main meta revolves around paralyzing and freezing the monster, so it basically can't do anything. Now, the thing is, like, with the expansion, they apparently gave most of the stuff immunity to status effects, which is one of the annoying things that tends to happen when you get to higher level content is, you know, like all that status effect stuff that they put in the game, well, that's useless because it just makes the game too easy if you take advantage of it. So then none of the enemies are really status immune or status vulnerable anymore, and so it's all about just who can hit the enemy the hardest, the fastest. You know, common problem, happens in pretty much every game you can think of. Oh, drop arrows, please. Just do this one all the way. Good enough. Yeah, like I pretty much like I usually give up on status effects when I play RPGs because when it counts, they never work. But to be fair, there are some games where status effects are surprisingly effective. Although it can kind of make like the final boss fights a joke. Like one of the ways that you've seen game devs kind of try to ameliorate that is like they give bosses or whatever you know, acquired immunity. So, like, it'll work a couple of times and then it'll stop working. You know, it'll get progressively healed quicker and then eventually it just won't work anymore. Like, Monster Hunter does this. And it's a pretty clever way to deal with it, so, like, there's still value to it, it's just you can't rely on it for the whole fight. That's part of the reason I did, like, the burn thing in Expedition 33 is because burn seemed like a status effect that even if you got to the later portions of the game would still probably work. So I was like, okay, well, if I put time into this, it'll be different. It'll still probably work when it counts. And it did. Like the Souls games tend to be pretty permissive about letting you use, you know, status effects builds. Like, I can't really think of any bosses where they're immune. Like, some will be more resistant than others. No, to be fair, like, I've barely ever used status effect builds, so I'm not really too knowledgeable on what doesn't work, but I do know that the Souls games, like, especially like Elden Ring, like, bleed was the meta for a long time. Bleed and sleep, or not sleep, but freeze, I think it was. Until they kind of patched things. Way too far to the right. That's too late on that dash. Just lucky that he went in the right direction. Let's see, other than that, I guess the biggest thing I accomplished this week was finishing the Infinite on hard mode in Mugenics. About it. That was a run. It's one of the ugliest and longest runs I've ever had to do. Like, the whole thing was, I took the friendship bracelet, or I forget what it's called, and the ball peen hammer. So the friendship bracelet lets you permanently charm any enemy 3 times. But the ball peen hammer, what it does is every time you use it on ally character, it repairs 1 use on all their, you know, usable items. So it's just infinite adds. I should have just swung my sword. What am I doing? That's not that big of a deal, though. So the last fight was me and a whole bunch of enemies. Like, my characters barely did any damage, so it was mostly the ads that were killing the bosses. Good. That's a real jerk-ass thing to do, game. Cycle faster if I hadn't missed that arrow shot. Not gonna save any time here, if any. It'll be like, yeah. Whatever, we keep going. A lead's the lead, I suppose. It worked. I mean, the thing is, like, you gotta have actually kind of stout monsters, or you gotta have a way to, like, produce a bunch, because the creator does so many full screen, or, you know, like, most of the screen attacks that if your ads aren't a little bit, you know, beefy, they're just gonna get wiped out whenever they do one of these. Either that, you're gonna have to do enough damage in, like, 1 turn to finish them off before you can do that. And my team was not built to do that, so it was just a slow, plodding, whittling down of the bosses until they finally died. Oh, no. Like, there's nothing... There's no such thing as a bad strategy in that game. Just some are faster than others. That's it. I should say the only bad strategy in Mugenics is one that leaves you dead. Unless it's a strategy that relies on your death. Those are a thing too. You know, really, it's a shame that that game came out this year. Like, there's so much stuff that came out this year that that game normally would be getting a lot more attention than it did. But so much stuff has come out that, like, the people that like that game really like that game, Like, I can understand why they think it might be Game of the Year, and from a lot of standpoints, like, I can agree that it is probably the best game that was made this year. Like, you just want to talk about the amount of depth that went into planning how the game works, the soundtrack, how well the game plays, everything like that. Yeah, I could see it being Game of the Year. Like, my biggest complaints of that game are all UI based, pretty much. I mean, yeah, like, I'll bitch about what happens in the game sometimes because it's unfair, but I mean, that's just what those kinds of games are, so. And that's kind of like yelling at a dog for being a dog. But the UI in that game, although it looks really nice, like, from a usability standpoint, it's a real problem. It's just the amount of work that has to go into prepping yourself for each battle and things like that. Like, it'd just be nice if there was a way to streamline that better. That didn't basically involve having to do solo runs. Afraid that might happen. I need to be up against the wall. The thing is, like, I don't think they're going to change anything because there's no way that they didn't know about these problems before they released it. Like, I think it's entirely just an artistic design decision, and they've just decided that's what they want to do. So, like, I'm not really counting on that changing. Wow, that's a mistake. If I did that. That's the first time I've done that since I started doing this. Like, I'm always usually really careful to make sure I don't do that, but it's kind of fat fingered the D-pad there. Alright, give me like 20 seconds. It wasn't a bad run at that point. Like, I was probably going to pick, as long as the boss fight went okay, I was going to pick up time there. Maybe be about 10 seconds ahead going into Ganon's tower. Or at least leaving Harrow's, but... oh well. It's not a huge loss. Let's try again. Alright, getting back to the Mugenics thing, like... that, like, the house phase is what almost everybody universally complains about. Just because it's so hard to sort your cats. Item management is a pain. And there are really simple solutions to those. that the guys that made the game are not stupid. Like, they know what they are. So that they haven't done them tells me that they have no interest in doing them. And like even recently, they did some kind of poll on Twitter about, they did a poll somewhere about one of the aspects of the game where they're like, how can we make this faster or something like that. And it was something that it'd be nice to speed up a little bit, but I mean, that's not one of the major choke points of the game in terms of speeding things up. But I think they are kind of, I think they are trying to do something to make it so that the runs proceed a little bit faster than they do right now. Because I think that at the end of the day, that is the one thing about the game that I think really kind of keeps some people from playing is like one run is long. It just really is. And unless you have mastered the game to a point to where you don't really have to think about what you're doing. And if you can do solo cat runs, like those are even faster. But like 4-cat runs, just 4-cat runs are just long. Like they're always long. Because there's just so many more things you have to think about than your typical 2-cat run. Or 1-cat run, I mean. Like there's more things you have to manage in terms of skills and synergies. There's more, you have to manage more equipment. It's more turns per round. And since everybody's weaker, you gotta be more careful. Whereas with the solo run, as long as if you can get the solo run going, as long as something disastrous doesn't happen in an event or something like that, you know, most of the time you're gonna be okay. And if you're willing to reset, like, you can almost certainly be okay in most cases, that assuming that you put the run together well. I mean, to be fair, like, the attacks and things like that, like, the button presses, you can use the keyboard to kind of do those things, but, like, I feel like the cursor should be, like, ever present on the field, and you should be able to use the cursor to, like, select tiles, or not the cursor to select tiles, the arrow keys. You should be able to use the arrow keys to select tiles. You should be able to select your path using the arrow keys even. Like, you can't select the path that your cats will walk in, you know, environmental dangers are all over the place in this game. And you kind of got to rely on the Pathfinder to give you a good path. Even though sometimes, you know, with like the trample effect, you actually want to run into certain things. Or I want to say those keys are taken up for, like, the ability buttons at the moment. I can't remember, because I barely use the keyboard. Like, I want to say that those keys are already being used for something, but I'd have to look at the config again to be sure. I mean, one of the other things that really kind of bugged me with the last run I did is, you know, it shows the turn order at the top of the screen, but once there's enough ads on there, like, you can't see the entire turn order anymore. And like that can be a big problem sometimes because you don't know what order the things are going to go in, and not knowing what order you're going to go in a game like that is extremely bad sometimes. Especially when like speeds are changing, so. And then you can't even see what round number it is either. Like, I don't understand why that wasn't made scrollable, because they had to, like, it was obvious that that was going to be a problem with the way they designed the game. And then during the fights, like, the more buffs and things you have, the more impossible it gets to see the screen, because every time you mouse over a character, like, just this giant list comes up and blocks half the screen. I really ought to reset. This time is shit. Yeah. Like going out the door at like 6:33, 6:34, that's terrible. Like I'm already like 7-8 seconds behind. And then after you come back from a run, because your inventory is so limited, you gotta sit there and, okay, which items do I really want to keep and which ones do I not want to keep? And you gotta do this every time. It's not like a couple items, it's like 40 or 50. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like Mugenics, I really like the game. Like I like roguelikes, and then I really like the grid-based strategy. Oops, what am I doing? I really like the grid-based strategy games, and combines the good aspects of both of those. I mean, it's really just the UI. I mean, again, like, some of the enemies are bullshit, some of the events are bullshit, but they're bullshit because they're supposed to be bullshit. Like, they were intentionally made that way, not an accident. It's just the UI. At the end of the day, like, that's the big sticking point with the game, it's just the UI. It's rare that you'll see a game where the UI is the biggest problem by far, but I mean, this is one of those examples. That was silly on my part. I was fine, and then I ran into him. How did both of you get there? I don't know if I can remember both of them lining up like that before. I should have picked up those rupees. It's fine. Probably won't make a difference. Probably. That rat really stopped like one of the worst places he could have stopped. Alright, this is a little bit better start. A little bit closer to the kind of starts I'm used to. Whew. Surprised I didn't register. Figured at some point he was going to stop, but he didn't. All right. Man, all these old games, understanding the hitboxes was everything. Oh. Got greedy. Fuck. Asshole. We're gonna die here. Nope. Not lucky. What about here? Yep. Damn it. Should have aimed up first. Stupid skeleton. Final Fantasy II is a very special game if you're talking about the NES 2. Talking about Super Nintendo Final Fantasy II, then that's a different story. The real Final Fantasy II, because of how the level up system worked, is... I didn't like that game very much. Because the early meta becomes hit your own teammates. Like Final Fantasy 1 is I really like Final Fantasy 1. It's a pretty well made game. Now the NES version that came out in the US, it's got a lot of bugs and a lot of stuff doesn't work the way it's supposed to, so it's a little bit unfortunate in that respect. Like spells don't work the way they're supposed to. The weapons that are supposed to be strong against certain things aren't at all. Like there's a lot of problems with that game, but it still plays pretty well. Like the class balance is nice. The fights are dangerous enough to be interesting. Oh, yeah. Like, the Pixel Remaster versions, obviously, like, they're very different than their originals in a lot of ways. What's funny, though, is that most of those Pixel Remasters are actually lesser versions of the games than ones they released in the past. Like, almost every single one of those games has a Game Boy Advance version that had extra dungeons and other stuff that made them better games with more content, and all of that got stripped out of the Pixel Remasters. I really don't know why. Yeah, the monk's a lot of fun, you just gotta be patient. It's just a shame that the Thief Ninja class is really not that great. That's a stupid way to waste time. A lot of the fun with Final Fantasy 1 is, you know, trying the different party mixes. It's just short enough to where you can do kind of multiple playthroughs and it isn't that much of a chore. I just really wish they put all the extra content in the Pixel remasters. I don't know why they decided to take that out. I mean, I wasn't necessarily expecting them to put, like, the sequel stuff in for Final Fantasy IV, but they could at least put the stuff that was in the advanced versions. Oh, man. First run without a fighter is pretty rare. That also means, like, almost all of the best equipment in the game you couldn't even use. Yeah. The warrior and then the warrior knight. But the best sword you can use, assuming you got it. Yeah, like the monk, once you level it up enough, is the strongest character in the game, I believe. It's kind of a shame that at the end the game kind of reduces down to whoever your strongest character is, just put fast on them and then keep powering them up. But it is what it is. You know, it's kind of funny, you actually really don't need a white mage that much in that game. Because once you get the, like, the healing staff or the healing helmets or things like that, you can just kind of use those to keep yourself healed up. And like on the old game, the final boss fight, like, healing almost didn't matter anyway. The only thing that really mattered was doing as much damage as quickly as possible, because you just weren't going to live very long in that fight otherwise. No, like the weapons and items and stuff, you can use those infinitely. Yeah, Final Fantasy, the weapons being a one-time use thing was really... I want to say that was only in Final Fantasy VI. In Final Fantasy VI, you could quote-unquote break the weapons and get, like, cast a powerful spell. But all the other ones, I'm pretty sure the weapons are multiple use. Or infinite use, I should say. Oh man, what a disaster. The hell happened there? Yeah, like, Final Fantasy II, my complaints with Final Fantasy II were, I don't know, like, I always felt like the world kind of felt dead. Like it felt too kind of sparse and small in a lot of ways. and because of the way leveling up worked in it, like some of it felt really kind of grindy. I guess the story was okay. Like 3 is a massive improvement upon 2. Like my advice to those pixel remasters, I mean, unless you've got some kind of like moral stance against it, I would use the multipliers that they let you use for like things like XP and things like that. Because otherwise, I mean, oh, I gotta restart this. I didn't even reset the clock. Like I want to say in that game it's important for you to hit higher level things than you. I can't remember exactly how it worked, but I think you want like lower level people hitting higher level people. And then with the spells, I think it's just simply you have to use them. But for like the Asuna spells and things like that, I mean, you might actually have to be curing a status effect for them to level up. Which obviously is a pain. Yeah, like I don't really like the new music. I'm just gonna be straight with that. Like I don't really like the new music. Like I don't like a lot of the remixes Square's been doing of their past games soundtracks. Like I'm not really a big fan of the OSTs for the Final Fantasy VII remakes either. It's not like they're bad music or anything. It's just that they're so overproduced at this point that they're forgettable. They're completely forgettable. Like if you didn't have the core music that existed on the original game, like I think most of these tracks would be unrecognizable. Like, so something happened with video game music where it became this thing where like everything needs to be like orchestral or symphonic or something like that, and it just overcomplicates the music so that to the point that like, you know, simple themes don't come through anymore. It's like, oh, it sounds really good, but oh my god. Take 3 days off and this is what happens to me. I just can't put together a good run right now. I just find all the music completely forgettable. Like, the only reason I remember any of the music from the Final Fantasy Remake stuff is just because I know their original music. It's just, I think it's another example of the fact that they had to limit themselves ended up producing a better result. So they had to really focus on making the music, you know, catchy, but at the same time, something that you could listen to multiple times without getting tired of it. And like, I think that's the thing that's really kind of missing from a lot of modern video game music is that, yeah, it's really, you know, well produced and things like that, but it's all forgettable. Like, so much of it's just so forgettable. I mean, it's just like, think of the Mega Man games. Like, if you played those Mega Man games, you probably remember the stage music for every single one of those stages. Like the Castlevania games, you remember the Castlevania music. Like Dragon Quest music, oh my god. I don't know if there's more iconic music than the Dragon Quest music. Yeah. Oh, man. It's just, I can't do it today. What is going on? It's a mountain of little errors here and there that's just killing everything. Let's go again. Oh, yeah, but like the Mario music, yeah. Like the guy who did the music for Mario is really good at what he does. Koji Kondo. Like, I don't know how much of the recent Marios he's been doing, but he's the one that did pretty much all of the Nintendo and Super Nintendo ones, I believe. Like the Zelda music's all pretty much iconic. Like, I sat there and played that Adventures of Elliot game for I don't know how many hours. And I can't remember a single song coming off the top of my head right now. If I heard it, I'd be like, oh, yeah, I think that was from Elliot, but I wouldn't be sure. And the thing is, it's not like all recent game music is like that. Like, say, Nier Automata. Like, Nier Automata had a really good soundtrack that does all the things that the older games does. Like, it's extremely recognizable. Like, you remember the music from that game. Expedition 33, same way. Although, to be fair, like, some of the music I can remember for that, and then others of it's like, I don't know. Yep, haven't played that yet, so can't say, but like Persona 5? That's another example of a soundtrack that's extremely well done. Eugenics. Like, that's the one thing that if Eugenics doesn't win this year at like Game Awards, I'll be extremely disappointed. Is that should be best game soundtrack this year. I just don't see how that's going to lose. Like, there is nothing even remotely close to similar to the soundtrack of that game. Like, it's really impressive what they did with that. Just from a uniqueness standpoint, the variety of music. And the thing is, it's good. I mean, the lyrics are silly, but the music is good. Like, I mean, that might be the only thing that kind of holds it back, is like some of it's kind of a bit lewd and things like that, but lewd and crass, but I mean, still, it's like that kind of music. Like, you really don't even hear people make music much like that anymore, and the quality of it is just really impressive, and especially like how much of it there is. Like, you know, like a normal CD has somewhere between, you know, 10 to 15 tracks. That soundtrack has what, like 50? I really don't see what would beat it. I mean, if we're talking about original soundtracks here, like Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to have good music because it's going to have to pay for a lot of licensed music. You know, same as like mixtape. I mean, the music in mixtape is obviously pretty good because they paid for a bunch of licensed music. Oh, come on. Why did it do that? What did I do to make it do that? Ah. I don't know why it would get disqualified. Unless you want to say it's not a game. Which I think is an argument to be made. Yeah, I mean, like that would be the big thing, but I think like I don't know, like Game Awards shows are gonna have to be really brave to put that on any list just because of how obvious it is that that game got a lot of money put behind it. I don't know, between mixtape and the Sony stuff, like game news reporting has not acquitted itself very well this year. They've done nothing to quell concerns that all of it is just access media at this point. Man, I am really having trouble with inputs today. Best as I know it's working. I don't know though. I think it was only like 8 hours or so. I mean, that's not... I mean, if it's still down, then maybe that's news, but I don't think it is. I mean, like, the PSN network goes down at some point once every year. Oh, God, I gotta do this again. Forgot to reset the clock. I mean, the only reason it's really even barely news is just because of everything that's going on with Sony right now. Under normal circumstances, the PSN going down is not that rare of an occurrence. The only time like things like that get important is if there's a reason that it went down, like they got hacked. Which, truth be told, I've got a feeling is probably coming sometime between now and 2028. Like, people forget, like, the whole reason that I think the whole reason the big hack happened back in the early 2000s is because of the whole other OS thing. And people looking to just, you know, do something to Sony. I mean, that's part of what drove the drive to get the PS3 jailbroken too, was them taking away the Linux option. So I think the PS5 is probably going to be broken before the generation's over. I mean, they're already starting to get closer now that a modicum of effort is being put into it. I don't know, like, I think the odds of Sony going back on their decision are not zero, but they're not good. Like, it really does kind of feel like it's going to be one of those situations where, you know, kind of like Microsoft did with the 360, where, you know, like, it played HD DVD discs for the games, but you couldn't play movies on it until they added until you got like I think there was there was like an add-on for it. I don't think they could update the hardware to make it do it. Like, I could see like something similar happening with the PS6, where they're kind of forced into a situation where they've already done all the design work for it, and it's kind of too late to try to redesign everything to put in some kind of disk drive option again, so there's going to have to be some kind of like add-on thing that just kind of looks unwieldy and costs more money than it should. And by then you've already kind of burned all your goodwill anyway, so you're trying to get people back that probably don't even want to come back. Because my prediction for how this is going to go is things are going to proceed as they are, and then the PS6 is going to launch, and the initial stock will sell out, and then it's going to peter off hard. Which is the trend you've seen with almost everything recently that has pissed off its fan base. And then over time, things just kind of progressively get worse. But if I had to guess, I think part of what's driving the decision, I think Sony's in a little bit more trouble than people may realize financially. Like, I think all the wasted money from this gen on acquisitions and then games that have become nothing has kind of put them in a corner. And like, while the revenues are up, like, I think their spending has also been way up too, and the spending hasn't been producing revenue in the way that they expected, and I think that may be causing problems for them. Like, one of the tough things to tell with corporate accounting is like a lot of stuff gets hidden in a lot of clever ways, and it's kind of really hard to tell, you know, like how much money they've actually lost, how many liabilities they've actually got, because they keep either putting it off or hiding it in places that a normal person can't see because they don't have access to the data. Which is why something like Game Pass was able to go as long as it was without being criticized the way it needed to be, because the numbers all looked good, but that was just because they were only showing you the good numbers. Well, I mean, you buy back your own stock if you think you can sell it back for a larger price at some point in the future. Or unless, you know, you're intending to take a couple private, which obviously Sony isn't trying to do. But I think that that just may be another example of them making a bad decision based off of poor readings of the market. Like, if they think that they're going to clean up off of this, then it makes sense to do the stock buybacks, because you'll be able to sell them back at a later date for a much larger amount of money than you bought them for. But that's only if what they're doing works out. Like, most of Sony's strength doesn't come from their electronics division anymore, I don't think. I think it's their financial stuff that's really their safest moneymaker at this point. I mean, it should have been PlayStation, but they've kind of messed that up at this point. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell, like, how much trouble Sony's in right now, because, like, let's consider the PSN numbers. You know, cancellations with that. Like, you've got the people that are very passionate about it, and they're going to cancel their accounts, and, like, there's a screenshot of some guy that had purchased subscriptions all the way up through 2054 that canceled his. Like, I'm bought up through next year. Like, I think what should worry Sony more is people like me that I'm going to keep buying PS5 stuff that's on disc because, well, I mean, like, that's what I wanted. If they're giving it to me, I have no problem. But the thing is, like, when that's over, I'm done. Like, the PSN, like, I'm up through, I've got just about a year left on it. I think it's either a little bit over or a little bit under a year left. So, like, whenever that runs out, I'm not renewing it. And I have no intention of buying a PS6 right now because I don't see the point. You know, I bought the PS5 because the value proposition was there for me. I could play all my PS4 games at, you know, higher resolution, you know, like at higher speeds with better stability and faster loading times. It's a new console, so I didn't have to worry about my 6 or 7 year old console breaking down. It didn't cost that much. And I could play it physical media if I wanted to, because the value proposition was there, even if I was a little bit concerned about the software side of it. But now, like, with that gone, really, what's the point? I think that's what Sony's got to worry about more. Because they're not going to notice people like me being gone until it's too late. You talking about the PSN thing? The PSN, I mean, you can buy as many 12-month acts of it as you want. Like, that's what I did when it was on sale. When it was about 30% off, I bought like 5 years worth or so, maybe even 6 years worth. I don't remember. Should have bought more, although maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe I bought the exact right amount. Because I do remember when I was buying it, like, I was considering buying more, and then part of me was like, well, you know, there's always a possibility that you're not going to want a PS6 because they're going to get rid of discs. And I was like, yeah, I probably shouldn't lock myself into it any more than this. Looks like I was right. Because that's part of the reason I chose 2027, was because I figured that was when the next one was coming out. Very unconventional way of doing that. Amazing how quick rust build up in this game. Yeah, I mean, I barely use mine. I mean, out of the free games, the only ones recently that I've played that I would have maybe even considered without them being on the PSN was maybe Core Keeper, but it's doubtful I would have ever bought that on my own. I played it and enjoyed it, but I mean, other than that, like if I've played free games from the PSN, it's mostly because they were just an easy game to platinum or something like that. If you were to ask me if I felt like I've gotten my money's worth with PlayStation Plus, the answer would be no. And I paid less for it than most people have. Not all, but most of them. At least anything I've been playing in like the last 5 years or so. I guess more like 10 years, but... Thing is, like, compared to like the people that really go after trophies, like I don't even have that many. Like I'm not like my trophy score is not even in the top 100,000 in the world. Like in Japan, I'm in like top 6,000 or 7,000 or something like that. Like you don't even want to look at the accounts that are actually at the top. Like they're doing something. I don't know what it is. But like the amount of trophies they have just doesn't make any sense. My inputs are just awful today. D-pad inputs. Ah, crap. Seriously, I ran out of arrows. I used 21 arrows. I'm just gonna chalk up the day to Rusty. There we go. I don't know, like, yeah, it's kind of a funny thing about the trophies thing, and then the whole thing with, you know, getting rid of discs and everything being tied to your account. There's that guy named Hakum, or whatever his name was, that for a while was at the top of the trophy leaderboard. And then, like, last year at some point, like, he basically said he was no longer going to be doing it. Now, the thing is, like, he'd lost his #1 spot a long time ago, but then apparently somehow his account got taken from him, or suspended or something. I forget exactly what happened. So that's why he said he wasn't going to be doing the trophy stuff anymore. But and then you had the guy with like the 20-year-old Microsoft account that got it, you know, somebody managed to steal it from him, and then Microsoft, in order to protect his digital security, closed the account permanently. So he lost not only like all his Xbox games and stuff, but like, you know, like all his OneDrive files he lost and everything. And like the only reason he got it back is because he was somebody that had a big enough of a social media following to make a stink about it. But like, that's the thing, you know, like once everything goes digital, if you lose your account, like you literally lose everything. Like all those games are gone. My PSN account is one of the oldest PSN accounts in existence because it was made on launch day of the PS3 in Japan. Over the lifespan of that account, I average a little bit under 1 trophy a day. It's actually not the first account I made. The first account I made was using a username that I used everywhere. But something happened in the middle of the process and I had to restart it. And it, even though I hadn't finished making the other account I was in the middle of making, it counted the username as already in use. So I had to change my username a little bit. I don't know if that name ever reopened up or anything, but... Oh, man, it happened again. What am I doing to do that? Am I just too slow? I think I'm too slow. Important thing to know about the sword swipe in this game, if you only swipe once, you will swipe in an arc. If you swipe multiple times quickly, you only swipe about 90 degrees. Like the sword will stop, you know, directly in front of you. So it's important to be precise with your sword strike sometimes. No, that's not the original username. I changed it. I changed it when I decided I was going to start doing this. Like, I pondered making a new PSN account, but I was like, I don't want to have to manage multiple accounts, so I just changed the username on it. At least I didn't step on the button this time. Ooh. I was afraid that was going to bump, but I just went anyway because time. Oh! Yeah, don't worry about it. Let's stop in. Oh my god. That sucked. Like, there's nothing I could do. Like, when he's on me like that, I can't... All I can do is go in a cardinal direction the same way he's going, otherwise he'll catch up to me. I can't run diagonal because he'll hit me. So all I can do is keep running left there. The thing is, like, there's obviously a limit to how far I can run left. At some point, like, I'm gonna have to turn. And so, like, I pretty much reached that limit at that point, so I was just screwed. Man. Today was just not meant to go well, it would seem. Oh, this is really last chance realistically. Hopefully this one gets going. Not playing well, luck's not very good today. Bad combination. Oh, come on. I was hoping maybe I'd just get lucky and he'd get caught in a sword swipe somewhere in there. But nope. Oh, reset the clock. Man, the D-pad inputs today have been really bad. Oh, come on. Do, 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 do. I know that's not exactly right. I'm doing it on purpose. Oh, come on. Random aggro. Random aggro. Hard to believe it's a thing, but it is. Ah. It's just a mess. It's been a long time since I've got a room like that there. Can't walk up, can't walk down, and there's just a mountain of them in the way. That's the worst possible outcome. Let's try to get something to happen this time. Would be nice. Really thread the needle there. Oh, what am I doing today? Alright, last shot. This one doesn't work. It's just not working today. Because I had to talk today up to Rust and come back and try again tomorrow. It's not been pretty. Not been pretty at all. Really unfortunate what happened in the Tower of Hera, though. That was... Well, the first time I messed up was 100% my fault. That second one was kind of bullshit, though. You know, I complain about bullshit in this game a lot, and that's because there's a lot of bullshit, but I mean, that's just part of the territory with this game. Like, there's so much RNG that you're just going to get stuff that's ridiculous sometimes. This is terrible time. This time is bad, I think, because it's going through these double doors, and it's going to have reset. It's not that bad. It's still not good, though. But anyway, I mean, you have to calculate for a certain amount of BS with this game. This is just going to happen. But even still, stuff like what happened on that Moldorm fight, like, that still sucks. Yeah, today would have been real easy to just talk up the... I just talked too much today and didn't concentrate on what I was doing, and that kind of messed everything up. But like, even here, like, where I'm focused in on what I'm doing, it's still going exactly the same way. Today just not my day. Come on. Jesus. Yeah, that's enough. That's enough of that. Like, 3 sword sizes and all. I was going to have to make 5 just to get through that room. Maybe. Unbelievable. Yep. When that kind of stuff's happening, it's just time to stop. Especially with the way I'm playing today. Alright. Didn't work out. That's probably, I mean, it's probably 50% rust and 50% the game was just not very favorable today. But either way you slice it, the result are the results, and the results sucked. So, too bad. I have to try again tomorrow, which is what I'll do. So I'll be back tomorrow doing this around the same time. So hopefully it'll go better then. I'm going to play Mugenics after this. Today doing subquests. 2 subquests at the same time. It's a set I tried to do earlier and accidentally messed up, so you gotta like, it takes a while for the subquest items to come back on rotation. So I finally got them both again, so I'm gonna do it again today. It's Angry Face and Loner. So Angry Face makes one of your cats or become an enemy, and then the Loner kills all of your teammates on the first turn. So what the cat does is he joins enemies and then kills all the enemies on the first turn. Now, that doesn't end it because you actually have to kill that cat or down that cat to win the fight. So, and then obviously it can't kill the bosses either. But that is the run I'm going to do today, and then we'll do the Zaratana home fight, and that'll probably be one day. But that's what I'm doing after this. So, if you want to watch that, by all means. Otherwise, that's just going to be all for this stream. Hopefully tomorrow will go a little bit better. Just didn't work out today for a multitude of reasons. That happens. But thanks for watching, everyone. Always appreciate it. You guys have a good one. Hope to see you soon. If not, see you tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.